Well, welcome to Small Biz Tips. I am here today, guys, with a good friend of mine. We actually a mastermind together in Mexico. She is a firecracker, guys. She gonna, ooh, I'm excited. Her name is Locha. What's up?
Hey, how are you, Jubert? First of all, thank you for allowing me to come on here on your platform. I truly appreciate it. I'm super excited for business tips. So, yes, let's go ahead and hop into it.
Oh, let's go. So before we start talking about the gems and all the good stuff, can you tell us more about Locha?
Okay, so I know a lot of people had bad experiences in school, right? But I am one of those educators where I'm super passionate, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
started off English teacher and I knew that I wasn't retiring. So what I did, I started my own school consulting firm. And so what that simply means is I go inside of school districts and I actually help teachers, principals, superintendents learn how to build relationships to make the experience better for their entire organization. So I'm a school consultant, and we just move school organizations forward through professional development, through district walkthroughs, and just making suggestions based on our observations. So that's it in a
Wow.
nutshell. Yes.
That's pretty dope, right? A school consultant, but you were a teacher before that. So tell us more
Yes.
about, right? Were you also a substitute teacher as well before that?
So I started boots on the ground. I started off as a substitute teacher, and really I was substitute teaching while I was in school. And so
Let's
I
go.
yeah, I knew, I like teaching and everything. I thought I was just gonna be a writer and like, live my life. And found out that me and my husband, we were expecting our first kid while I was still in undergrad. And I was like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
like I haven't written a book, like I haven't like made it to chill on the island. So I decided since, I had so much success as a substitute teacher, like literally had teachers asking me, how was I getting students to, perform and do well and
Mm-hmm.
be engaged? How did I have parental engagement? And I was a substitute teacher, so I was like, you know what, let me just switch my major to education,
Mm-hmm.
English, because I love reading and writing. And so from there, I moved from being a substitute teacher to being the in-school suspension coordinator while I was still working on my degree. So moved to that. And then once I got certified, I was an English teacher for several years, got my master's in administration. I thought about becoming a principal. And then, like I said, I knew I wasn't going to retire out of the classroom. And I just moved forward with starting my school consulting firm.
So I got a question for you, right? What was it like going from being a school teacher and starting your school consulting firm? How were you with your first couple clients? Was it the school that you worked at? How did that work?
Okay, so really cool question, right? So as an educator, I used to always find opportunities to go and get outside professional development. So there was a
Mm-hmm.
conference that I always attended called NAPSI as just an attendee. And so upon
Mm.
moving to the last district that I was in before starting a consulting firm, I shared with the principal, like, hey, I always like to attend conferences. Do you all have funds to pay for that? And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I really think it was like anything to get me to sign the contract, right? So when it came down to, turning in the paperwork to go to the conference, the principal was like, well, we can't pay for you to attend the conference, but we can give you the day off. So I was like, what? Like, I looked up how much it costs to go as a vendor. I'm like, you know what? I'm starting my school consulting firm. I already let the principal know my desires with it. So it was like $50 more to attend as a vendor versus
Wow.
just an attendee. So I got all of my literature made, brochures. I didn't even have my solid team yet, right? But I was just confident that if I go as a vendor, I'm going to secure contracts. So I secured 2 contracts that doubled my teaching salary. And I was like, yo, this is it. Like, I'm going to give it my all, this school year. But they gave me the confidence to really step out there with my own
Wow.
consulting firm. So now I've been full time with my own organization for the last 3 years.
Wow. Congratulations. Let's go.
Yes.
You went as a vendor and you took a chance on yourself, right? And said, hey, I'm just gonna go down there. And it's only $50. That's the thing, right? We don't think about that. And then you were able to secure your first few contracts. Tell us about it. Was it somebody that saw you there and they're like, what do you do? And then they end up saying, we need this. How did it come about?
So when you are there as a vendor, you have, a lot of people walking around, decision makers, you have people who are, teachers, you just have all
Mhm.
type of educational staff. And so there was a young lady who was actually next to me and we had just
Mm.
started talking. She was there actually recruiting for her school district. And so I told her about the services that we had to offer, especially in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space. That's what I love. That's what our founding principles are on, is providing staff development to help bridge that gap for when you
Mm.
have a predominantly minority student population and a predominantly non-minority teacher population. I just love to help them, show them how to build relationships. So I'm sharing that with her. She was like, oh, you need to talk to our assistant superintendent. I think we may have a disconnect in our district and, there actually may be a need for it. So he came by and she introduced us and I told him about the services that we had to offer. So that was one of the connections that I made. And so we've been in that district now for 3 years. We're going on our 3rd year with them and we're doing some phenomenal work. I must say, we had a data to prove it. And then there was another young lady, they were traveling internationally from Nigeria. And so she
Wow.
works, yes, so she works at the college level in a teacher preparation program. I told her about how we work with beginning year teachers. And so there was another contract that we actually secured. Because COVID happened, we did not actually get a chance to fulfill that because of COVID
Mhm.
and everything. But those were the 2 contracts, but they were literally me just going and setting up and just being confident. Like I got brochures made. The name of the organization is First Class Educator. And so I shared with my business consultant, I need to go to this conference. He was like, well, I got to connect, we can do a photo shoot, private jet, this and that. So just everything literally fell into place within 3 weeks of the conference.
Wow.
I got the backdrops made, all of that. It was very presentable. And I think it was really the confidence and that I knew that I could execute if I was just given the opportunity. And so, like I said, the contract that we've been working on the last 3 years with one of the connections, we've been doing some phenomenal work. Like they literally created positions, 6-figure positions based off of our recommendations and the research that we've done. So
Wow.
we doing it. We're really the first class educator. That's my
Congrats.
baby. Yes.
Yo, that's dope. You just said something here. I don't think a lot of people catch it. You're not only helping teachers at the school district level, but you're also first-time teachers that are just getting started, right? That's a whole different. How's that coming along? Are you going to the colleges and teach them, provide hands-on experience?
So right now, several of my consultants, they've created what we call a beginning year teachers program. It's like a
Okay.
mentorship. And so basically giving them a toolbox of how to work with 21st century learners. So they are literally boots on the ground when it comes to like practice, theory,
Mhm.
implementation, and building relationships. So just to give you the background, I recruited some of my professors from my early child, from my teacher education program, from my HBCU. Shout out to Harris Stowe. I have 2 teachers on staff from my program while I was in undergrad getting my teacher certification. And so they're the best. And so what they do, again, they just share the practical implementation of, how to work with these learners. So we actually have an opportunity to secure a position in a state to work with all of their higher ed teacher programs. So I'm really
Wow.
excited about that. So the opportunities are out there and really working with that population of teachers gives us a great pleasure because you have so many teachers. If you look at the teachers that are leaving, it's your teachers that
Mhm.
are older and they were having a disconnect with the technology. But then you have teachers that are just entering the first year, second year teachers. They are leaving by the droves, and I believe it's because they're not supported. So we go in
Mm.
and provide that extra support. So yes, it's
That's massive. That's massive. Now, let's talk a bit more about your business. You mentioned you have several consultants. How is it structured, right? Are you kind of like the owner of that, and then you have about 5 consultant here or 5 over here? How is that business structured?
So right now it's me as the CEO and I staff. I look for the opportunities and I staff it based on the needs and then based
Mm.
on the demographics. And so I have about, I would say actively 20 consultants. And
Wow.
so they range in from being retired superintendents, current superintendents, K through 12 educators, social workers, counselors, the full gamut of educators, right? And so I just base it on the needs of the organization and I staff it. So I don't have to do any presenting. Like I'm not gonna fake it to you. I love having the reach, but I like to just get it done. And so providing opportunities, I've had several of my consultants to say, Losha, you're paying us too much, but they're the best. They have PhDs. I don't even have a PhD, and I have several staff that have their doctorate's degree, and they love working for they could go out and start their own, but I think just my founding principles and the way that I take care of business, they just really appreciate it. So yes, I'm at the top, and I'm working on my succession plan because I just know it's growing beyond me, and we're going to be bigger than Scholastics. I like to refer to Scholastics. Everyone knows them in the education industry, but we're going to be the #1 leader and provider of professional development for educational organizations.
Let's go. I love it. Yes. So you said something, you're going to be bigger and you're growing, you're developing your succession plan. Tell, throughout this process, because you've been able to do this in the past 3 years, right?
Yes.
What were the challenges in terms of when you were building that team, right? Because 20 consultants, big business side team. What were some of the challenges that you went through, and then how did you overcome those challenges?
Okay, to be honest, the biggest challenge was understanding that districts have a pay schedule in which they pay out. And so the first year, I pretty much funded my payroll myself. And so really understanding that part of the business and understanding that you need to be well versed in when does a district pay out, how do they pay out their contracts, is this a contract that has to be voted on by the board? So just really understanding those semantics. So now that we have a larger influx of consultants, I'm in a position to now where I structure my contracts to get paid in advance. So that's one of my hacks. Okay. So I that's how I structure it. I want to make sure that we secure our funds to pay the staff before they even go in. Whereas I think my first year, we started doing work with the organization maybe the end of July, and I didn't receive my first check until like the end of October, November. So it was like,
that 90. I know what you mean. I work with exactly what you mean. It's smart that you're able to get it to pay you in advance. I think that's smart. That's genius. So now you didn't have to worry about payroll and make sure you can take care of the consultant. So that takes me to my next piece, right? Because you guys been able to impact the overall industry. So how are you getting these clients? Is it based on the relationship you build? Is it more like you're doing some heavy marketing? How were you able to kind of grow this so fast in a 3-year period?
So really what it is, the relationship piece is key. So I personally focus a lot on attending conferences where you have those decision makers. And so that's a quick and easy hack. If you can tap into, networking with the superintendents, you can first identify what their needs are. And then you can, follow up with a plan. So I like to go and listen. I don't do an awful lot of talking. There's no point in doing the talking when, you need to understand what the needs are. So going to the conferences, understanding the needs, and then, following up and having a game plan to address the needs that you heard them mention. That's been a strategy that's working well for me. We do some subscriptions, like nationwide subscriptions, to see what opportunities are available out there. That's really why I decided to bring on the counselors and social workers, because right now there's a high need for social emotional learning support as well as being trauma informed. And so we actually are in a position to offer a certification. It's almost like the CPR certification, but it's being trauma informed, but it can only be administered by people who have that credential to administer. So I have them on my team so we can administer a youth mental health first aid certification through my organization that specializes in trauma informed and social emotional learning. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I love it. So
thank you.
I know you got all these amazing things going on, but you also love to travel.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So, okay, one of the things that I love to do, I have 2 boys, shout out to Farrell and Sayer, they're my worlds. I love to take my boys, out of the country and show them the world, because I never want them to get, too comfortable with how they're being treated in America. We all know what they can be like, especially as young African-American males. And so taking them, we just got back from Bali and Singapore. And so my thing is, I want them to understand, thank you. I want them to understand it's more to the world than to experience. So even just doing the consulting, I can work remotely. So as long as I make sure that I have it staffed, my staff staff is going to show up, again, take care of your staff and they will do whatever it is that needs to be done. You don't have to micromanage them. And so just being able to still travel with my children, I homeschool my children. And so that's also a luxury that I have with this work, and the reach is far greater than what I would have if I was inside a school building. Even if I was, principal or superintendent, I have my time back to travel. And I'm on my 3rd passport, and I literally have like 2 pages left in my passport.
How many countries?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even want to throw in them. I don't even know. It's so many right now, and for me, it's about my boys. I'll tell you, I took them to Morocco. And so I was like, we going to Africa, when we got there, they were like, Mom, we're the Black people. And so I was like, yo, we're in Northern Africa, just letting them know, like Madrid area, but they love the experience. And I really think every time that we come back, I just notice their vocabulary improves. And to me, that's so important. Like, I wouldn't do this and, try to help educational organizations without pouring into my own. So I really appreciate the freedom that I have to be able to travel with my kids and give them those experiences.
I love it. I love it. So last question to kind of wrap things up. What is one tip that you would share with any entrepreneurs who want to live the life that you live, want able to work from anywhere, do what they want, and still have a big impact, right? And making tons of money. So what's that one tip you would share?
Delegate, relationship build. Okay. Find the best. Like I mentioned that I have staff who had their PhD, right? They are the best in the industry. So make sure that you have the best in the industry that represents your organization, your ethics, your principles, and delegate tasks to them and compensate them well. If you're gonna be getting a big bag, you can share that with your team, because I just believe in reciprocity. I know that if I take care of them, I'm going to be taken care of. So the most important thing is to build relationships with and delegate, work to the staff that can take care of it. You want the best. So you want to build those good relationships, and they're going to feel awesome about working with you because they know that you're intentional about the relationships that you build and the people that you choose to be on your team.
I love it. I love it. Thank you again, Losha. How do people get in touch with you if they're teachers or they have a school, they're listening to this? What's the best way for them to reach you?
The best way, social media is always good. I am Losha, Locha, Power Moves on all social media. So you find me Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, Losha Power Moves, and you can definitely get in touch with me. We have some resources that are available to them for people who are trying to break into the industry.
Yeah, share them. What's the website?
Okay, so it's the schoolconsultantaccelerator.com, and I'm pretty sure we can have some links available for them. We have an 8-week course, and you can access it, lifetime access, 24-hour access. I literally give you my contract templates where I awarded 6-figure contracts, my contract extension templates. Those alone are worth more than gold, right? And so I provide all of that in the course. So definitely tap in with me. I'm here to support you. I know my organization is growing so fast that I am going to have to subcontract work. So I just want to build a capacity of educators that are passionate, and even entrepreneurs that want to see some type of education reform. I am here to support you. I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on your platform again and to even speak with your audience. But if I could leave them with one important tip, is to relationship build and make sure that you have the best people on your team.
Build big, guys, you hear it. Build relationships and have the best people. That's how you become the next Losha. I love it. Thank you again for jumping on. Guys, definitely check her out. I'll put all the links in the comments and the show notes. Thank you. Have a good one.